we don't need this one anymore. This is a different type of video than I normally would make, but I'd like to take you guys along on this adventure. 6 months ago, I moved from New York to Tennessee, and I put all my garage stuff in storage in New York. Didn't have room for it here in Tennessee, so I decided I'd move my shed to my dad's house, load the shed with my garage stuff, and the car is in there too. So now it's time to go get it. So I planned a trip from Tennessee to New York. I'm heading up there today. Tomorrow I unload the car. While I'm there in New York, I'm going to swap the turbo out. I ended up buying a 67-62 VSR turbo to replace the 62-62 VSR turbo that's already on there. Currently, the car makes 510 horsepower at 27 PSI. Plan is to get it over 600. On the way back from New York, I'm going to be towing the car with a budget rental truck. And Mike P's shop is actually 3 hours from my hometown, and it's on the way here. So I've gotten a hold of Mike, and we're going to put the car on the dyno, and we're going to try to get this thing above 600, which it really shouldn't be that big of a deal. I've got 10 gallons of X85 VP, basically racing E85. With a bigger turbo running on Mega Squirt and flex fuel, I don't see us having much of an issue. I'm not sure what the clutch could hold, but I guess we'll find that out. The motor should be good to support the power that I'm looking. It is a factory long block with just cams and springs. It's never been open. Factory head gaskets from a 98 Pathfinder. But I mean, it's been in there for years and it's been holding horsepower really well. So with any luck, we don't blow it up. So my ride's almost here and I'm going to get ready to go. I'll take you guys along and show you getting the car out of the shed. Then we're going to bring it up to my buddy's shop, say we're going to swap the turbo out, which that won't take all that long, and then do some dyno pulls at Mike P's. So I wasn't able to get as much video as I wanted to with getting the car out. So here's a few pictures that I had taken, and with the car in storage in my shed, and all my tools are in that shed too, so I had to clean out everything that I had packed around the car, because I actually ended up running out of storage. And then getting the car pulled out, put the new plate on it. Everything took about, I think, an hour and a half to get it out of there, which isn't too bad. Fired right up when I took it out, so that is good. And then after that, we took it over to my friend's shop and ended up swapping the turbo. So I did take videos of swapping the turbo, and here that is. More of this video can be seen on my friend's channel. He took a lot more and was able to make I think a little bit better video than I was going to, so I just kind of fast forward through a lot of this. But the turbo swap went really well. It took about, I think it was 10.5 minutes to remove the turbo, and then 40 something to put the new one on, which isn't bad considering the new turbo had to be clocked. If it was just a direct swap or just taking the old one off and putting the old one back on, it would have been a lot quicker, but I was really trying to do it in a half hour. It was kind of unrealistic for that, but I mean, I think it was 55 minutes total for the swap. But externally, the 62-62 turbo and the 67-62 are the same, so it bolted right in, and you can't tell the difference between the two. Definitely can tell the difference between the two on the dyno, but we'll get to that here in just a minute. So really the only thing I had to swap over was the fittings for the water lines. That was pretty easy. I should have brought some new ones with me, but I obviously left them in Tennessee, and I wasn't going to run to the store, just figured to swap them over. The only other issue I ran into with installing the turbo is I didn't watch where I had clocked the compressor housing, so I actually had to take the compressor housing off to get it into the boot. But really, it wasn't bad. For being a modified car, it was a pretty simple swap. I guess the only thing that's left to do is actually start it.
Made in Germain. E.
Tell me if there's any leaks that you started off.
Alright.
Alright, so there's the 67, 62 Chinese VSR Racing Turbo. It looks good in there. Looks like the other one.
Yeah. Wow, it looks really good. Yeah, it looks the same.
Here's the truck all loaded up and with my car on my trailer. And then the next picture will be my car outside of Mike P's shop at Tri-County Garage. And then we're going to get right into the dyno pulls. On this first pull, we ended up hitting boost cut super early. The wastegate duty cycle was too high for the new turbo, and it went over, I believe it was close to 300 kPa. Didn't hurt anything. We made almost 550 foot-pounds of torque on that pull in I think it was 300 horsepower, 350 horsepower range. Can't remember exactly what it is. The video on that part is a little bit blurry. So we decided to turn the boost controller off and see what it would do on low boost. So in this next one will be a low boost 12 psi. So in just 12 psi it made 366 horsepower, and I believe it was 350 or 360 foot-pounds of torque, which is really good for 12 pounds. This is the last pull we did for the day. I was running out of time. I needed to get back on the road. So we ended up stopping at 581 horsepower and 582 foot-pounds of torque. It's not the 600 that I wanted, but it's damn close. If I'm going to go any higher, I'm going to need to get a 3.5 bar map sensor. We maxed out the one that I have. I'm going to need some stickier tires. I'm going to have to turn it down for now. It does nothing but spin when you get into high boost. So yeah, it's fun to drive. I'm going to do some pull videos here pretty quick. I haven't done any yet because I'm still getting used to the new power, and you know, I haven't driven the car in almost 7 months. So next few weeks I'll get out, get the draggy out, do some pulls, and get them posted. Dragonflies.